I have been watching Jynxzi for a very long time. Most of you may not think he's the best player on console, but in terms of game sense, he actually has a lot, and there's a lot you can learn from Jynxzi, whether it be what to do, and sometimes what not to do. Okay, so to do this, I'm gonna go over a live tournament right now that he's doing. He's in the finals on map 3. This is max OT for the finals on 0-0. So I just want to go over, like, his gameplay, and we'll see what I can learn and teach you from here.
I don't ever play Duke, sorry.
Okay, first thing I want to point out here is he wastes nitro cells like that way too much. He, like, every single time I see Jynxzi using a nitro cell, it, like, 90% of the time does not get value. He uses it like an impact grenade, and he's trying to go for a clip, I'd imagine. I don't really know, but you only really want to use nitro cells when you have information, kind of like you would use almost a frag grenade in a sense to get a piece of utility. You use a nitro cell to get a kill if you have information. Also, saving them for late round is really good because you can deny plants, so wasting C4s like this is not something you should be doing. So that's something that Jynxzi could work on and something that you could work on watching this video.
Yeah, someone come secret with me and cheese. We can cheese this gun secret. Come. You want me to slow walk up the steps?
You wanna
Yeah.
Now look at what he just did here. He's talking to Spoit right now, and he's like, Spoit's like giving out a call as to where the enemies are, and he's like, hey, can I come walk up the stairs and help you? That's one thing Jynxzi's really good at. People put him on support because nobody else really plays support, but I think this tournament he's been playing a lot of flex, which me and Fet have both talked about as being like his actual good role. He should not be on support. He plays like a bridge player, which is essentially just people who bridge the gap between roaming and anchoring, somebody that helps both depending on what they're needed, and that's a flex player. If you don't know, there's a bunch of different roles in Siege. You can play entry, which is just kills, or you can play anchor / support, which is just getting walls open or keeping walls closed or keeping the site closed. He plays like an in-between flex player where he helps out where it's needed and he holds cutoff angles for his team. So I think learning what role you should play as and what operators you should play dependent on your playstyle is another important thing you should learn.
They got moto,
I got targeted by Namos. He's in dirt.
One thing that Jynxzi's also pretty good at is understanding power positions. As you can see, he just got Deimos tracked in the last few seconds of the video. So he obviously went back to site, but the second the Deimos track was back up, he knew that he needed to hold secret stairs. Secret stairs is super important to hold because of this angle right here. I don't know why the quality on his YouTube live is so bad, so sorry about that, but you get the idea. This angle from secret can essentially cut off any attacker rotations from coming into stock and dropping your stock hatch. This angle is really good. It's hard to fight as an attacker, really easy to fight as a defender, as you're kind of controlling the pixel where they aren't. So having this pixel right here pretty much makes it to where they're not going to do a late round blue push, which a lot of teams like to do. You also, from this angle, can go for a red stairs flank, which I think he's actually about to do.
I'm gonna flank main.
Yeah, he goes for a main flank. Going for a flank is always good right at like the 1 minute mark at the very end of the round. That's when people expect a flank the least.
Yeah.
Moto heard. He dropped moto, I'm pretty sure.
And Jynxzi has the game sense to know that.
Main stairs, walked up, main stairs.
Third floor?
Let's go, guys, flanking.
I'm like, king.
In front of you. Bang! No.
Oh my god, bad aim. Oh my god, bad aim. Alright, next tip. Hit the f***ing aim labs if your name is Nick. Oh my god! What is that?
Oh, but that's just a weird gunfight. Like,
Moving on. So let's go ahead and skip to round 4 because nothing really eventful happened in the previous rounds that I can make tips about. But he's playing Tubberau in the basement. He's playing more of a supportistic role in this round. So let's just see what he's able to do. So one thing that I do want to go over right now is he's literally just holding a Tubberau canister in the basement, not doing literally anything. He could be on cameras for his team. There we go. Now he's actually on cameras. But being on cameras when you're a support player just sitting on site is the only thing you really can do, as you're kind of just sitting ducks until then. So make sure you're on cameras, not screaming at your teammates like he just did here. So he's really not doing anything that important. Make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're always on cameras. It's a 4v2. All they really need to do here is play passive. He's holding a really good angle. When you have DMRs, holding angles and really tight angles at that is very nice because DMRs, although they are slow rate of fire, do a large amount of damage, meaning that you're able to just get free hits on people that do the most amount of damage out of any weapon when you play DMRs and hold angles. And DMRs typically come with ACOGs. So using a DMR and holding angles is typically your best bet when you use a type of weapon. They're getting a little over aggressive right now. It's a 4v2. He has 3 canisters. He can just slow them down. He has a nitro cell as well. Thank God he didn't use it at a random floor at the beginning of the round this time. Good kill on Jynxzi's part, though. That was some good aim. He saw the pre-fire, immediately went to quick peek it and shoot it, and he got the free kill. That's one thing that's pretty good about, like, pre-firing is you can get some free kills sometimes, especially with DMRs and angles like this, for absolutely free. Anyways, enough yapping. Let me go ahead and play the rest of the round.
Come on!
Bro, what is he saying? Like, yo, can anybody comment under this video what he was saying right here? I could not understand. Another thing I don't like about like what Jynxzi does right now is look at what he's doing right now. He reinforced 2 walls and now he's just sprinting around shooting pistols at windows and walls, right? These are my solo queue teammates. When I play this site specifically, I play castle, so I have 4 barricades to put down, 3 rotates to make, all of the feet holes, 2 prox alarms to get down, and I like to do an extension into cache, which means I have at least 4 reinforcements to put down too. The reason I have to do all of that and I die because I'm still setting up site by the time the team rushes in is because of people like Jynxzi who run around pistoling stuff instead of helping reinforce to take that load off of your team that's still setting up a site. Never be still, never be doing nothing. I'm sure Jynxzi knows this. He was probably just reading chat or something. I'm not trying to dog on him, but you get the idea. Always at least be doing something. This is actually something that he preaches in his videos, so I'm sure like he was probably just reading chat again, but just always be doing something, even if it's something as silly as the prep phase. Just always be helping your team.
Yo, that means we gave them a rotate.
I would put the bandit on the left side there so it can't get shot from the CC window, but I'm just nitpicking at this point. Hopping over that window when someone's on the CC window is dangerous, brother. You can melee that piece of wall and get a free rotate.
Walked in. Oh, I missed my shot.
Okay, so if I'm Jynxzi here, I know that a lot of them spawned Jynxzi side because of the way that they're shooting windows open, right? So I would try to trick this wall, but he also just lost a teammate in the extension, and there's only like 30 seconds down on the clock. So if I'm him, honestly, I'll trick this wall, tell my teammates to go back, and if my teammates don't go back, I'll go back myself. It seems like his teammates took care of it, so I don't think he needs to worry about it. He's reading chat, so I'm not gonna dog on him for doing nothing here. But do you see like what I mean is a lot of the times he'll just sit still and do nothing. You cannot be that player. His teammates could have used help and now they're just alone. Like Spoit's on an island, Ambi's trying to help, but he's probably gonna die soon, and they're gonna lose this round. Unless Jynxzi hears this call out and checks his main and gets a free kill. That could be something.
I think one's lurking at me.
Again, just like an early use of the nitro. No one's on that window. He knows that. Like this is so dumb. He's waiting for the sound cue. I get it, but he tries to use it for kills too often. You gotta save it for plants. It's so much better used for plants. He could use it on the Logi hatch too, you know what I mean? And now because he's sitting with his penis in his hand, like this is gonna go to waste and he's not gonna be able to watch an angle like main stairs or help his teammate when he could be helping his teammate and then just use the nitro when he needs to use it. But a lot of the times, like the turbo out canister on the bottom floor last round, or the nitro stuff here, he'll just hold something out in his hands and he's not really doing anything, right? That's not an issue just with Jynxzi, but with flex players in general, it's one of the hardest roles to play because you constantly have to be helping your team at all times if you want to be a good bridge flex player, and he doesn't really know what to do a lot of the times, and I think that gets his teammates killed without him really knowing it. Although, Spoit is the f***ing goat, so not like it really matters, but carry on.
One main windows.
He even missed the C4, like he didn't even make it out the window. Jynxzi, brother! What are you doing? That's a free jump out. That's a free jump out. There you go. There you go. There you go. I think he was hesitant because he might have thought there was a claymore there, or because he knows he's just unlucky. But him running out there was good. They had the pinch on the window. He had good aim too. There we go.
Spoit is the best. All hail Spoit! All hail Spoit!
All right, that glaze is fucking insane, brother. I mean, he is 10-2. Shit, I'd be doing tricks on it as well. I'd be doing tricks on it. I'm not gonna lie. All right, skipping to round 6. They're up 5-0 against like in the finals on map 3. This is really exciting. He's on the Wamai, so I'm gonna assume that he's playing rafters.
I've been watching 4 years. He's never hit a C4. I've literally hit a C4 today.
I've been watching every game today. I don't think he's hit a C4. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he blatantly just lied to us. I think he just blatantly lied. Chad, even if he did have a C4, like, okay, he probably did hit at least 1 C4 today, but even if he did, he's like 90-1 for C4s, bro. Or 1 in 90, sorry. Really quickly, I do want to point out, look at the position of his Wamais on this door. I just noticed this. These Wamais are way too close together. If someone were to throw in any sort of explosive device through this door, one Wamai would catch it and the explosion would detonate and kill the other Wamai. So what I would personally do is put one Wamai on this wall and then put another Wamai on top of this wall, or put one Wamai on the top right and one Wamai on the bottom left of the door. That way the explosives don't explode other Wamais, if that makes sense. Impact trick on the mirror. Impact trick on the mirror. Wow. What an impact.
They go on the flank. Yo, they're in master side. Gave it up.
This motherfucker has a secondary utility problem, brother. You have a secondary utility problem, brother. Jynxzi, if you're watching this video like you were watching my other video on stream last night, you have a secondary utility problem, brother. I'm not trying to tell you how to play. I'm not trying to tell you how to play, although I would whip your ass in 1v1. I'm just saying. But you've got a secondary utility problem, brother. That's all I'm gonna tell you. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Him getting aggro here is good. This is good. This is good. Let me explain to you why what he just did was amazing. Because when you're down in man count, you have to get aggressive. No matter if you're on attack or defense, you have to get aggressive. Because if you don't, they're going to eventually get everybody surrounding the site for an execute. And they're immediately going to rush site. And you can't take 5 bodies as 2 players at the same time. You may be able to take them one-on-one, but you'd rather do that in an aggressive scenario where you're actually in a 1v1 than in a 1v5, if that makes sense. So him getting aggressive there makes sense. They're still down in man count. He's still 1 HP. He has 1 HP, so he can probably be more passive, but still holding an aggressive angle, maybe, would be a good idea. Let's see what he does. I am watching this live as it's going on, so I don't know, like, what actually is going to happen.
Okay, he's walking a red.
That was a bad angle. I'll tell you why that was a bad angle. He does this a lot where he'll hold angles, like, too close to whatever he's holding them on, right? So, for example, he was way too close to the wall he was holding an angle on, right?
Okay, he's walking a red.
So look at this angle, look at this angle. This angle's bad. One, he's shooting a reinforcement. He's not even gonna be able to hit the person he's shooting. But regardless, even if he was holding the angle here, he's so close to this wall right here that his shoulder is gonna peek out way before the enemy even has time to see his head, which means the enemy is going to be able to react way faster than Jynxzi is, essentially making Jynxzi lose this gunfight, no matter even if he wasn't shooting at a reinforcement, right? So when you are holding angles, especially tight ones, especially when you're on 1 HP, you have to back up off of those angles. I think in this scenario, there might be holes behind him, which could be the reason why he's not backing up. If so, that's fair. But just a lesson that I think not only Jynxzi could learn, but you could learn by watching Jynxzi for as long as I have. A 5-1.5 is not terrible. So we've seen Jynxzi on defense. Let's go ahead and see Jynxzi on attack. Unfortunately, he is being stuck to the hard support role again. I don't think it's a good idea. It is what it is. Raid immediately getting absolutely dicked down and sent to Pound Town by a Boss G. Not looking good, but still recoverable. That wasn't, I think that was arguably their least important player on the team in terms of like their operator selection. So it's still a recoverable round.
Yo, do you want to get Moto Ambi?
Wow. That is so unlucky. I'm not even gonna lie, that's not even his fault. He had so many teammates in kitchen and he was alive in kitchen for so long that in my head, if I'm Jynxzi there, I'm thinking surely they don't have a C4 because they surely would have C4'd by now, right? Sometimes you get unlucky. You can't really do anything about that, and that just is what it is. I can't even blame Jynxzi for that one. This just looks like a lost round for them, so let's skip to the next round. Again, on the thermite, this does look like more of a flex thermite. Usually if you're attacking gym bedroom, you want at least 2 hard breachers because you have to have hard breach for the jacuzzi side and the CC side, as well as the con wall and a Thatcher to get all of that open. So I don't know that he's necessarily playing hard support here. This is, of course, if they're going gym, which I'm assuming they are based off the lineup. Yeah, they have a Grim, which means they're going to go Logi Hatch. This is probably a gym execute. Immediately getting the wall. The faster you get this wall open, the better.
Ambi, your mic's weird. Ella's top red.
He sees an Ella top red. This is another thing flex players do, is when they see something and they see an opportunity, they don't really capitalize on it and they wait for their teammates to capitalize on it. That is fine, especially in this position when you need to stay alive because you're the thermite. And they also know that they're being, like, there's a gunfight in garage, essentially. I got it. I keep stuttering. I'm so sorry. You get the idea, though. Him actually not going for the swing, even though he has 2 flashes, is the best probable move here. And I will say, even though he does play like a flex player on support and is really not supposed to be, when he does actually get the opportunity to flex like this, he does play his cards right. He's a good flex player. He has good decision-making skills a lot of the times. But look at this, look at this. He's sitting around doing nothing. He's doing nothing right now. He's got a doing nothing problem.
Yo, can we slow down? Can we slow down? Watch the oil put hop out.
Like, look what he did for the past 10 seconds. Absolutely nothing.
I got brain.
Now he's holding angles, right?
Hop garage or oil?
He got tricked by a guy and gone.
Secret, Jynxzi.
I mean, I'm upside down.
I'm not even kidding. Do not peek him, Jynxzi. He might help you with him.
I flash secret. I'm staring at the dump out.
He's
For a little bit of context here, by the way, they talked about before the clubhouse game that Gunner likes to hop out of the secret window on this bomb site specifically. So that's why this is such a big deal and why Jynxzi's watching it.
He's right here on ping. Shot my camp.
Him leaving was, I think, the best decision he's made all game. There's no reason for him to fight this guy in secret, right? They have the bomb site. It's a 5v2. If he floods site and just plants, he'll win the game. No reason to fight this guy, especially when you have diffuser, right? Good decision making. Like I said, Jynxzi may not have the best aim, but his decision making is like A1. He has very, very good decision making. They know last one's site. Nice. That was a good 6-2, 6-2. He could win this game. He could win this game. Let's see what he does. They're attacking again. He's on the thermite, and there's a Grim and Twitch. So this is the same exact side execute. Let's see if he can make it better. Let's see if it gets worse. I don't know. Let's see. Again, expecting that secret window run out. Gunner does that a lot. Here's a mistake right here. He puts his thermite on both walls. If they have a bandit trigger and a bandit trigger is tricking your wall, it doesn't matter which wall he puts it on when your thermite's in the middle. He's going to trick it successfully. But if you were to put your thermite slightly to the right or slightly to the left to where it was only on one wall, there's a 50-50 chance the bandit gets it wrong, and maybe it's the difference between you opening or closing the wall, right? So opening a thermite in the middle of a wall is never a good idea unless you know for a fact that someone's not bandit tricking.
Stop right on that shield.
I think they do a Jynxzi take here. They're holding cash so heavily right now. And there's a guy secret, and there's a guy top red. I feel like they rotate here. They go highway Jynxzi, have someone go main stairs, maybe a Grim Logi, maybe. Again, he's just holding angles. That's good for flex players.
No drones.
There you go. There you go.
I'm flashing red. I flash top red.
He's double flash. Swing that, swing that, swing that.
Red.
That's
Swung
red.
me. That one swung me. Condor.
Okay, so in this position, they know there's one guy in con, and they assume that there's two more guys in cash. Also, the wall to their left is reinforced, which means they don't have to worry about a swing from master door, which is pretty good for them. However, last time they played this site, there were feet holes on Logi. So I think pushing here is kind of a death trap no matter how you look at it. So again, if I were Jynxzi, I would probably be trying to go highway or work some sort of other push here.
We don't know about Logi. No.
Okay, he knows one's Gymrack, he knows one's Logi, he knows one's Con. There's essentially a three-way angle onto this window or any highway window. So what he needs to do is take 1v1s. Don't peek this window, because everybody can see this window. I would peek either the Gym window or the Con one to take a 1v1 and maybe try to clutch this out. And he just gets pre-fired. That's unfortunate.
So the fucking game. God damn it.
It's okay, it's okay. I mean, that really wasn't Jynxzi's fault. I do think the one big issue he has is just, like, indecisiveness for his role. But let's see if they can finally close this game out. He's on the Monty this round. Wait, what? Oh, he immediately died. How did this happen? A drone hole? Okay. I mean, that's just his fault for standing in front of a drone hole. Lesson number 7 or whatever it is. Don't stand in front of a drone hole. Like, Jynxzi, I'll let it slide. You've been playing all day. I'll let it slide. If I see another mistake like this, though, you're cooked. Well, now that he's dead, actually, I think this is a great time to, like, utilize how I think he is really good when he's dead. One thing he does do well when he's not clip farming with his chat is he'll actually get on cameras a lot and help his dead teammates.
Yo, under the hatch, under the hatch, under the hatch. Yo.
Look at him getting comms.
Yo,
That's a good comm. That's a good comm.
Mingo, one's on the blue mirror.
I was just gonna say he needs to call up the guy that was blue for Mingo, and he just did. That's really good. But constantly on drones.
Dirt.
Right back in.
AK's Ryan.
Dirt and blue. Wait, let me be. Wait.
Look, I think you go.
4v2 with mom. Blue dead. Is this game?
Oh. Yeah!
They just won the finals. No way. And he's shaking his ass in front of the camera. Bro thinks he's cooking with Kaya, bro. What is this? GG's. All right, so now that we've watched an entire game and I've given you everything that I've learned over watching him, not only for this game, but multiple games, and I've shown you why I think he's good, why I think he's bad. What are the biggest lessons that I can teach you from watching Jynxzi for 100 hours? The first tip that I learned not only from this video, but from watching him for many, many hours is to not waste your nitro cell. Jynxzi does this all of the time. He wastes his nitro cell way too much. I've said this, a lot of Twitter has said this, Fet has said this, and he still hasn't learned his lesson, but you get the idea. You really only want to be using your nitro cell when you're 90% certain it is a free kill, as a lot of the times in the round, you actually will get those opportunities, whether it be to deny a plant, to get a kill on a rappel, to get a kill with a sound cue, with a camera, whatever it may be. I understand the mindset of not wanting to die with it in your pocket, but when you're wasting 90% of your nitro cell kills when you know they're going to place sight that has vert, it just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. So try to use your utility more often than you are, but only in places where it makes sense. The next tip that I want to go over that I learned from watching Jynxzi is to make sure that you're playing the correct role that suits you. For example, Jynxzi has been stuck on hard support for the very longest time, but he does not play like a support player. Like I said, me and Fed have talked about this. He plays like a flex player. A flex player essentially just helps out to whatever is needed by either party, the people on site or the people that are roaming. He bridges the gap between the two, which is why it's called a bridge player. On attack, it looks like people who are holding cutoff angles so that their teammates can go for executes, people who are getting on flank cams, or anybody that brings any sort of secondary utility to help their hard breachers. But really, your job as a flex player is just to be helping people. Jynxzi's really good at that, but he's unfortunately just stuck on the wrong operators to do the job, so make sure you're on the right operators for whatever gameplay and game style that you have. The next tip that I learned from watching a lot of Jynxzi is to make sure that you never are doing nothing. You always want to be doing something. You never just want to be shooting at walls in the prep phase. Just help your team reinforce if you have to, or just ask how you can help. That's the best way you can help a lot of the times, and if nobody says anything, then I guess you can shoot your pistol around. Even in the round, always make sure you're at least holding an angle or watching cameras. You should default to those two, and if none of those make sense, then use your utility, and if none of those make sense, then rewind and go back to the first tip, because you can be doing something. The fourth thing that I learned by watching a lot of Jynxzi is to make sure that you're micromanaging your aggression dependent on the man count. This is actually one of the tips that Jynxzi does very well instead of very poorly. When you are down in man count, it is good to get aggressive to even out the man count so you don't get flooded on site. If you're on attack, making sure you actually get a little bit more passive to bait out anybody that's swinging you would be good too. If they're not swinging you, then you have to get aggressive and take 1v1s to even out the man count. If you're up in man count and you don't have the disadvantage, play passive. Especially if you're a defender, the attackers have to come to you, so all you have to do is waste time until they get the bomb down. On attack, same thing. If you're up in man count, that's when you reset, as they say, stop being aggressive, completely slow down, don't move, and start droning people. That way you can actually get the info on the last people on the site, and then you can all flood them at the same exact time together for an easy round win. Now, there were other tips in this video that I could have made a big deal, like making sure you space out your Wamai discs, or putting thermites not in the middle of a wall, or not standing in front of a drone hole. But honestly, those are pretty niche and non-important tips compared to the other 4 that I went over, so I'm not going to spend too much time on those. In conclusion, Jynxzi is a good player. Yes, he has things he needs to work on, but so does every other player. You can downplay his aim all you want, but the fact of the matter is that Jynxzi wouldn't be the #1 Siege streamer in the world if he didn't at least have some talent above the average player in the game. So put some respect on his name and make sure that you actually learn by watching his videos instead of thinking negatively of him because he bottom frags a little bit in some tournaments. I know his nickname is 1 in 10 Ben, but chill out on the guy. With that out of the way though, my name's Alka, check out this next video, and I hope I'll see you there.